Hey, it's Frank here with 4D Honeybee, and it's the moment of truth for my struggling hive. I'm trying a new camera angle here to hopefully give you a better view. I requeened this hive 6 days ago, and I tried a prolonged cage release method because they had a laying worker drone in here, or sorry, a laying worker, and so I wanted to make sure that the hive took a little more time than just a quick release to get used to the queen, and hopefully the larger cage gives the queen enough room to do some laying and convinces these bees that this queen is better than their existing drone laying worker bee. So it's the moment of truth. They may have released her. They may have, she may still be in the cage. She may be dead in the cage. She may be in the hive already being a queen. And I think there's a good chance that if this requeening did not work, then I will have to split this hive into my two other healthier hives, because it's September 4th. Oh, it's my anniversary. Happy anniversary, honey. I'll pick you up something nice from the gas station on the way home. Anyway, yeah, so September 4th, so it's pretty late in the season. It's late even for this queen. If this queen does succeed, and she does start laying, then I will probably take a couple of brood frames from the other hives to give to her to help her lay some new brood for the winter. There's a decent number of bees in here. As you can see, this is the second brood box here, and there's a decent number of bees in here, and that's why I haven't done the split already, because I'm still hoping that with a new queen these guys can survive. So if there is a queen laying in there, I'm going to have to do something with the second brood box, because it looks like it's pretty honey bound. So first off, we'll get into the lower brood box and see that cage and see if I do have a queen that has survived or what's going on. So I'm not going to smoke these guys until I need to. They're always pretty calm. As you can see, they're barely moving now. And even though they've been queenless for the better part of probably 2 months, they haven't really been nasty to me. So now I put the cage on the second frame here. There's a lot of bees all over it, so I will smoke the top of this hive here, just to drive them down a bit, give me some room to work. I'll take the outside frame first, and then the second frame is the one where the queen cage is. So I'm going to try and make some room so that I don't upset that cage much. I had to just make the cage on my own because I was very tight for time. I was leaving on vacation, and I couldn't find someone to buy the cage from. So that's another factor as to whether or not it will be successful, probably. So here's the outside frame, which is just typically a frame of honey, but you see it's got some drone comb on it from that laying worker. I am looking for the queen just in case. They could have been able to get underneath the cage that I put in and release her, so I'm not taking anything for granted. I'm looking for the queen as we go. So this next frame here is the frame where the cage rests, and I'll try to let you see what's going on inside the cage. They've built a lot of comb around it. Let's see what we get here. Okay, there is the queen inside the cage, and they're trying to tend to her. So it looks like a number of bees were squashed, probably in the attempt to put the frame in. Do you see the queen there? She has a yellow mark on her back. Now I'm going to release her into this frame and just see what happens, okay? Hopefully you can see it. I'm going to just put this frame down for a sec, hopefully not squish any bees. Get out the way, get out the way. And make sure you've got a good angle here, okay? Just give me a sec. Okay, so let's try and zoom in a little bit. I'll try to keep everything happening within the realm of that cage. Do you see her in there walking around? She did have one attendant in there with her, but naturally all the bees want to tend to her. Let's Let's see, where is she? I want to see where she is before I leave. There she is right there. You see her walking? It looks like they have not gotten into her. It's just the one attendant, so I'm going to open up this side and just hope she doesn't fly away. So here she is. She's come out this side. There she is right there. You see the mark on her? Let's try and keep an eye on her. While I'm able, I will remove this thing completely and get it out of the way. There's the queen right there. So where'd the queen go, is my question. Of course I took my eyes off for 1 second and now she's gone. She's right up here, so she may have slid into the hive that way. I know she didn't fly away. So let's see if I can find her. Queen, where'd you go? There she is. She's right here. See her right there on the side of the frame. Coming up toward my thumb. See her there? So they have obviously accepted her. There's nothing untoward going on. And I'm looking into her, into the frames where she was trapped. I'm going to remove the secondary cage there. That's the cage that I got her in. I'm just going to watch her for a while and see what she's doing. There she is on the edge of the frame again. You see her? Right here by my thumb. I will get rid of this extra comb that I put on. All this extra comb here is what I put on just to secure the frame so that she'd have more release time. And there she goes right up towards my hand here. You see her? So I definitely consider this a successful release. They're definitely going about their business, as is the queen now. And what I'm going to do is just wait for her to move away from this area, and then I will take away all this extra comb that I put on, put the frames back in. I will probably add another frame or two of brood. Hopefully I can find a frame that has a nice mix of eggs and larvae so that she can get to the business of being a queen. And you can see she's just laid a ton of eggs. Look at all the eggs she's laid here. Almost looks like dirt all over the cells. Do you see them? Near the top of where the cage was. And the reason why is just that she had, you know, she's laying thousands of eggs a day, but she only had a few hundred holes to work with. So that I don't think will be a problem. I think now that she has the whole hive to work with, I just have to make sure that she has a lot of space and she can lay them properly 1%. Okay, so I'm just going to pause the video for a sec, and so far consider this a successful requeening, and I'll keep watching her for a while just to see what she's doing, and then I may add in the new frames of brood so that she can so that this hive will hopefully have another little explosion here as we head into fall. Okay, so just going to observe the queen a little more here, and they are really tending to her, and you'd think they would because they've been trying to get to her for 6 days, but they've been unable. She did have 1 or 2 workers tending to her while she was in her cage, but now she's free to go, and you can see how she's being tended to and groomed. And just another closer look here at the eggs that she's laid over here. You can see she's laid probably thousands of eggs in individual cells. just because she didn't have anywhere else to lay them. So they'll have to clean them up. I'm sure they will. And hopefully she'll go back to being a right laying queen. Right now she's just allowing herself to be groomed. Look at that. Not doing much, not moving much. So okay, I'll get back to my work at it's amazing how she's just sitting there. She's not moving at all. I wonder if this is part of sort of the acceptance process, whereby she's just not wanting to upset them or disturb them anyway. Ouch. She's not moving. She'll be okay. I think she will be. Okay, so I observed the queen some more, and I'm very delighted to report that she got right to business and started laying some eggs. I watched her do it, and she was very nicely tended to by the rest of the bees in the hive. So that part of this is a success. The queen has been released. She's laying. She's a right laying queen. From the looks of it. Also, the drone laying worker bee stopped laying. There's no more larvae in the hive, so they were ready to have a real queen, and that's why they accepted her right away. And as some people mentioned, they probably would have accepted her right out of the initial release cage or box or whatever that thing is. But again, just because there was a laying worker in there, I wanted to take the extra precaution of giving them a few more days than the time it would take them to chew through the candy to get her. So anyway, it's worked well, but now what I want to do, there's lots of room for her to lay in that lower brood box. This is a second brood box. I put it back on, and I'm pretty sure it's honey bound. So I'm going to take a look through this. I'm going to take out at least 2 frames of this and put in 1 or 2 brood frames from my healthy hive, so that this hive will see a nice explosion with this new queen in it. There are a lot of bees in this hive though. Look at it, right? This is a second brood chamber, and look at how it's pretty decently wall-to-wall bees. I mean, it's not, there are busier hives, but for a hive that's been queenless for the better part of 2.5 months, this hive isn't doing so badly. So I just want to help it out with 1 more new brood frame. Hopefully I can find a frame that has some eggs and maybe 2 or 3 different stages of larvae. And that'll be it. I'll get back to you when I find that frame. I'll probably take a look at my healthiest hive here and add that to this frame. Okay, be back in a sec. Okay, so I've decided just to swap 1 frame of brood from my healthy hive over here to my struggling hive over here that has a new queen. I mean, there's a decent number of bees in here, so I'm just going to swap 1 frame and see how it goes. I'm going to take this very empty frame, which I extracted a few weeks ago. Look for the queen here just to make sure she hasn't decided to come on up here for some reason. I left her in the lower brood box and she was already laying, so I'm extremely happy about that. I don't see her here, so we're going to shake these off here and then shake the bees off the other frame from this hive and drop this brood hive in here. You might not get every single bee off, but that's going to have to do. They'll have to figure out the rest themselves. So that's a frame that has eggs, brood, and larvae. Some capped, some not. So hopefully within a week this hive will start hatching that out. And then within the next couple of weeks the new queen will be hatching her own. So that's it. Now the requeening is successful. What I'm going to do as well is start to feed this hive. So I'm going to do everything in my power to strengthen this hive. I'll start feeding this hive and my other hive that the tripod is on. This hive is still producing honey for me, so I'm not going to feed it until it's done with the honey production in the next few weeks or so. It's still got a lot of good foraging weather here and a lot of honey flow happening right now, with goldenrod probably being the peak flower right now, but everything's pretty much still going nice and strong here in early September. So thanks for joining me. Thanks for all the advice on the requeening. It has worked. Maybe I'll put some information below on who sold me the queen, because he was really affordable and really friendly and really knowledgeable. And if you're in southern or south central Ontario and you need a queen, he's still selling them for 20 bucks a pop, and I don't think you can beat that. He marked the queen, he gave me some advice, and like I say, I think that's what's led to this successful requeening. So thanks for joining Frank at 4D Honeybee. That's me. Happy anniversary, honey.